Welcome to UCF Knightline, your source for UCF sports and former player information.
Hello, Night Nation. This is Andrew Phegley coming to you from the 1148 studios, and this is episode 34.
That's how old I am. This is Trace Trylko.
All right.
Or not.
That'll do it.
Yeah.
All right. So I think you're a little bit older than that, but anyway.
Maybe the inverse even.
Here we are for episode number 34. This week we are going to have Luke Hiers on. We're going to have Cameron Stewart on. We're going to talk some football. We're going to talk some baseball. We're going to talk some softball. And we're going to have some news and notes. And we're also going to talk a little bit about basketball.
Speaking of football, spring practice begins this week. That's a big milestone in the sports calendar.
Yeah, I'm excited. It starts on Wednesday the 18th and continues Friday, Saturday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Tuesday.
And you're going to be out there for the opening practice.
Yeah, I'll be out there on Wednesday. I'm looking forward to it. It is from 10 a.m. to 12:10 p.m. They just say fans are reminded there are no photography or no videography. allowed at the practice, and are kindly asked not to describe UCF football practices online or in public forums or through social media. Well,
but there are some interesting storylines to watch, right? I mean, new wide receiving core,
and
new
guess
secondary.
What? If you tune in here next week, we will be talking about a little bit of what happened. I'm not going to describe anything, that will get anybody in trouble, but I will definitely have a report from there.
Some insight, at least.
Absolutely.
No doubt a little rust to be shaken off with those first couple of practices, but it's good to see the players out there getting ready for the start of the 2015 football season.
It sounded like we had a little hurricane. I forgot to turn off my fan. I apologize for that little... It's so hot in here because we
sweltering even.
We do not have very good circulation in here, so...
Speak for yourself.
Yeah, well... Okay. Well, somebody asked for it to be a little bit more unrehearsed and off the cuff, so there you go, buddy.
Wasn't that you?
It was not me, but it was,
one of those message board fanatics that love us.
Yep.
Love to talk about us.
Yeah, and he thinks that we are too AM radio.
Yeah, to the gentleman who is apparently nameless, hiding behind a screen name, I will only mention, since our bios, we've talked about briefly our bios, but I was a radio TV major at UCF. Yeah. I worked in the business. I worked in radio.
And we want to make
I worked in television.
We want to make this sound as professional as possible, because hopefully one of these days the radio stations will get an air of what we're doing, and maybe we'll be doing this once a week or whatever on one of those radio stations.
Is that the goal? Is that a goal?
I think that would be great.
In fairness now, you talk to me outside of the microphone.
We could reach a lot more people if we were doing that.
This is true.
But
don't I sound like this even when I'm not doing this?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't know.
And I talk the same way as well. So
no, a little high-pitched and squeaky when you're not in front of them. You've adjusted all the buttons.
That's funny.
I just laugh. For the detractors, I will only mention that there is not another podcast, though we would bring them on. Do
Absolutely.
10 or 12 of them.
Yeah,
Until then,
cool.
We're happy to have Luke Hiers, Cameron
Did
Stewart.
I mention that this was episode 34?
Episode 34.
That's a lot.
Chugging along.
It's a lot.
Most listeners ever, and it's March.
Yeah.
So it's tremendous.
Keep going higher all the time. I'll just say a little bit about that, actually. The interview that we did a couple weeks ago with Bo Schneider has been tremendously well received. And I've gotten lots of comments and all that about that one. It's definitely by far the most ever listened to episode. I take it that people like Bo Schneider and they can't wait to have him on campus.
A lot of buzz around Bo.
Yeah, but there's two guys that we're going to talk to tonight, like I said, Luke Hiers and Cameron Stewart. Those guys are really exciting. I really like Luke Hiers because he has a bit of a mean streak, and we talked to him a little bit about that. And Cameron Stewart, he's going to be... He could easily be our savior at wide receiver.
No pressure there.
Yeah.
But that'll be something to watch for in these spring practices. because most of these guys, most of the new recruits aren't on campus. They still have high school graduation to go to before they're enrolling during summer. So we're going to see some Taylor Oldhams and some others at the wide receiver position.
Yeah, and I believe the one person that we're going to see in this spring football that is new to UCF that actually is a 2015 recruit will be Taj McGowan, because he signed up for the spring, and I believe that he will be here. And that says to me, look at me, I want to play.
True. Most recently on the Crunching the Numbers, John Swift took a look at the offensive line, so it's a good opportunity to meet one of the future UCF Knights on the offensive line in Luke Hiers.
All right, joining us on the phone is Luke Hiers. He is a offensive lineman. I believe he played center at Lake Wales High School in Lake Wales, Florida. He is 6'3", 290 pounds, class of 2015 for the UCF Knights. Luke, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
Thank you so much for joining us. So, Luke, walk us through the process of you signing with the UCF Knights on National Signing Day.
Well, I did not hear from them like in the meat of the recruiting process at the beginning of my junior year when everyone started sending mail. I really didn't get much, but I did commit to University of Kentucky early, and I think that kind of dulled the recruiting process for me. But that they had it wasn't the right fit for me, and so the second I decommitted, I started hearing from Coach Taff and Coach Mo and Coach Key. Maybe the day after, and it all went from there. I just close to home, good football career in the system fit me, and saw an opportunity, I jumped on it.
So what was with the university, you said Kentucky, that you had committed to in the first place?
Yes, sir.
What made you initially commit to them and then decommit?
Initially, I think it was a heat-of-the-moment decision, because when I went up to the spring game, it was kind of exciting, I guess. The fans are kind of exciting, but looking at it, they had a lot of offensive linemen on the roster and weren't graduating many. The offense wasn't, the spread kind of offense, and that's not what I'm used to out of the gun. That's not my thing. And then decommitting was the same thing. I realized it wasn't the best opportunity for me, and plus it's kind of far, and I like being close to home, and so I took the opportunity that I did take.
For Knights fans, the list of schools that went after you that listed on your bio are pretty impressive. I'll rattle those off. Duke, Kentucky, as you mentioned, Louisville, LSU, Miami, Mississippi State, Nebraska, North Carolina State, Ohio State, Syracuse, and those guys over in Tampa, South Florida. How much did they go after you?
They went after me pretty hard, and then I did like them in the beginning, but, then again, I don't think the system would have fit me. I'm not a big fan of Tampa either. So.
That's a good answer right there. You grow up in Lake Wales, and so you know the name UCF, but how much did you know about UCF at that point when you were being recruited?
We had a kid that went there, Chad Alexander, from my school, the year after they beat Georgia in the Liberty Bowl. He played receiver, and I know he really enjoyed it. Kind of shoved me towards it, saying, go give him a look, and, went to the Bethune game, and I was amazed, to be honest. I've never even seen a campus before then.
Talk about that a little bit. What was that like when you stepped on campus? What was your impression and your family's impression of being out at UCF?
I didn't know. First of all, everyone said the stadium was, big, but I was thinking, it's on campus. I wasn't thinking it would be that big, even though it fits, 50,000, something like that?
About 45. A little more than those Lake Wales High games?
Oh, yes, sir, a lot more. But, and then how large the campus was and how many people were supporting them. Go to U.S., nobody at their games. I like the alumni support. And then, I wasn't, blown off like some of the other schools kind of did to me. I don't know, I was in shock after I left that game.
So talk a little bit about your mean streak that it looks like that you have. You watch your tape, and it looks like you really follow through, and it looks like you really like to hit guys. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. It's pretty fun.
So expand on that for me a little bit. Talk to me a little bit about, you play center. Believe it or not, in Pee Wee football, I grew up to be a cornerback and a safety, but I played in Pee Wee football, I was bigger than a lot of the other kids, and I've played center. So I know what it takes to play center. Maybe not at the high school level, but at the lower level. That position is very important as far as, like, you know, especially in the college and pro ranks where you have to call a lot of the defenses, and there's a lot going on there that people don't understand. It's not just hiking the ball between your legs.
Yes, sir. It's a little more than that. You got to point defenses out. You got to, you know, call protection. In our case, even at high school level, I called the snap count. You know, even we had a new quarterback, a transfer kid, and he didn't really know the offense, and I had to help him with audibles and whatnot. A lot more than just snapping it. And then underappreciated, I believe. I think we're a little underappreciated. Yeah,
well, when the ball doesn't get to the quarterback, then everybody knows that you're there, unfortunately, but besides
we
that,
only get blamed for the bad thing.
Exactly, yeah. So seeing what UCF had done this past year and the, I hate to say problems on the offensive line, but the inexperience of the offensive line and kind of the struggles that they had this last year, how do you think that you can help that out?
Well, they're all more experienced than me, but so maybe I could bring, I don't know, physicality to the table, football smarts to the table. But nothing beats experience as an offensive lineman, in my opinion. The more experience you are, the more game time you got, the better football player you'll be.
You mentioned physicality as UCF fans get to know you a little bit better. 6'3", 285 pounds, couple of accolades your way, all district, all county first teams, 2012, 2013, 2014, and Florida Class 5A All-State first team in 2014. Describe your style of play on the field during your high school years. I mean, that's 3 straight years earning honors like that. What kind of player were you on the field during games?
I was taught to always finish the play. You know, you got one guy, you don't just block him and then stand there. You want to finish the play. Because I was taught in most college, they look at you the whole play. They don't look at just the beginning and what you do in the beginning. Did you finish? Do you run to where the play's happening? Do you finish in a sense? And, you know, there's always a little joy when you wish somebody, you're looking over top of them and they're looking at you like, why'd you do that to me? So
that's what I'm talking about. That's what I was talking about before. Yeah. That's in your highlight tape. That's what I could see, that you finished the play every time. You ran through the guy, and a lot of times you were even helping the guy up sometimes, but you were standing over him, and I'm sure that they did not know what hit him half the time.
No, sir.
Talk a little bit about your high school coach. What kind of a guy was he like?
Well, I had one coach for 3 years, Rod Schaefer. He's now at NAIA school that is down the road from us, coaching football. Rod Schaefer, but taught me everything and showed me the game. But my coach this year, Tavares Johnson, it was his first time as a head coach ever. I thought he did well in never being a head coach before. He was our defensive backs coach my other 3 years. But I think he did good. He ran practiced good. He had good game plans, and I think he's a good coach.
Okay, what's been your experience so far with Coach O'Leary?
Well, first time I ever met him, you know, him being at Georgia Tech and him going to be the head coach of Notre Dame, we all know that situation. But having him as a coach and looking at him the first time, it's like, holy crap, you know. I think my mom was more in shock than I was, you know, because I'm used to meeting these coaches and stuff, but she was like, oh, man, there's a legendary football coach in, you know, Southern at Georgia Tech and now at UCF. I'm really excited to get a chance to play for him.
Yeah, he's kind of known to be kind of like a tough coach to play for. He really wants you to give it your all, and he will hold you accountable for sure. You're going to be okay with that?
Yes, sir. You got to, football doesn't last forever, and having a good coach to keep you accountable in life, in the real world, that's your job and whatnot.
So what's coming next for you? You've got graduation. When do you get to UCF, and have you decided on a major?
I'm looking into business management, but anything in the business side of things.
And when do you get to UCF?
The 24th of June.
So you got a lot coming up in the next couple of months. High school graduation, coming to UCF, and strapping on the helmet and the pads and getting out there.
Yes, sir, I do.
If there was one thing that you could say to Knight Nation because they're listening, what would it be?
You guys are going to see a lot of pancakes.
That's good. That's the way it should be. All righty. Well, thank you very much, Luke. We really appreciate it. We are looking forward to having you at UCF and being the center for the future of UCF football for quite a while. So you travel a lot for work and fun. Have you ever thought about having just a little bit more insurance? Travelex gives you the peace of mind so you can take care of your family and loved ones. click the link on our webpage. I'm just saying, accidents happen.
This is Bo Schneider, and I'm listening to UCF Knightline.
All right, so thank you, Bo. And we just talked to Luke Hiers, and
I like the mean streak part.
I do, yeah, I like that guy.
Yeah.
I'm really excited. I think one thing that we should talk about, want to report a little bit about Latavius Murray and some of the NFL guys that have stuff going on. I think the situation is perfectly awesome for the chance for Latavius to have the starting job and to do it out there in Oakland this year.
As we talked most recently, Maurice Jones-Drew, the longtime Jaguar player who had a little stint out in Oakland, he announced his retirement at the ripe old age of 29. And then this week, Darren McFadden makes the move to the Dallas Cowboys. Good opportunity for McFadden. And that paves the way for Latavius in Oakland. Not a good team, though.
Yeah, I think McFadden, I don't know what he's going to do in Dallas. I think it's
he's
crazy.
He's not going
personally.
to do DeMarco Murray numbers, that's for sure.
I think it's absolutely crazy for them to get him, but I think he was washed up a couple of years ago. Anyway, so that'll give an awesome opportunity for Latavius Murray, and we will look forward to reporting every week of Latavius Murray running over guys. And
remember his big breakout game last year.
Yeah,
have I mentioned this before?
Yeah.
The Thursday night game against the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yep.
Your favorite team.
My only team. Anyway, yes. Yep, he did. He had a great game.
Until he got concussed.
Yeah, well, he is a Raider, unfortunately.
But it is a good opportunity for him.
I wish that I can't wait till he is a free agent and can move on from there. Maybe we can get him in Kansas City. Also, I think that we should talk about another one of our guys that are in the NFL. And I hate to even bring this story up, but I think that we need to talk about it a little bit. We had discussed not bringing this up and everything else, but Bruce Miller, one of my absolute favorite Knights of all time, and I'm sure most of you have heard that he got in a little argument with his fiancée, and supposedly he pushed her to the ground and broke her cell phone. Then he was arrested on spousal battery. It's suspicion, actually, of misdemeanor spousal battery. He's free on $10,000 bail. I hate to hear that this has happened to a guy like Bruce.
And, of course, we don't know what's going on this. And, the San Jose Mercury News article throws out that great journalistic word, allegedly. No charges filed. We don't know what happened. It seemed like there was some sort of situation between the two of them. Whether it rises to the occasion of spousal battery, I guess, will be to be determined. Yeah,
you never know, who these guys really are. You never know what goes on behind closed doors or in public or whatever. I hope that this doesn't, end his career. I hope that it doesn't put him, in the same Ray Rice category. I don't think personally that it's anything close to that, but
there's been problems in San Francisco with other players. Right. So
he's the first off-season player that was arrested and got charges on basically, this year.
Well, the 49ers general manager said that Miller had not been suspended. The team had been in contact with him. They were disappointed, but they were going to do their due diligence in collecting all information. I'd say don't be surprised if you see that this doesn't go much beyond the news that broke. We'll see what happens with this. My prediction for you is that this ends up getting dropped and that he's not charged with anything.
I hope so, because Bruce is a fan favorite, and it's hard to be. It's rare to be a fan favorite as a fullback and all that anyway. So he's one of the most vocal 49ers. He's I hope that it just stays what it is. So
before we get to our interview with Cameron Stewart coming up, really should mention at this point in the program that your UCF basketball Knights closed out the season on a losing note. Third time not the charm. They fall to East Carolina 81-80 in the AAC tournament. tough way to lose the season, losing to the Pirates in any sport at any time.
So we go from bad news with Bruce Miller to worse news. I don't know about worse, but to more bad news with men's basketball.
UCF finishes 12-18. Andrew, you had an opportunity to talk with a couple of the players the other day, and Brandon Goodwood says he's grown a lot this year.
How has your game improved over the course of the season?
I've slowly been able to gain poise. Last year I was pretty much 100 miles per hour, and I couldn't really find my role, But now, I'm learning about my teammates, learning about myself, learning when to score, when to pass, still working on getting my turnovers down and, working on free throws too. So, the little things, I'm just improving over the year, and, this offseason is going to be a big step for me in improving things like that.
B.J. Taylor and Adonis Henriquez were honored with American Athletic Conference All-Rookie Team accolades this week, which was really cool.
Yeah, bright spot for the team. And when you spoke with B.J., he talked about just how long a season it is for a freshman.
All right, so, B.J., how have you felt over the course of your first full college season? More tiring than you thought?
It's a long season, longer than high school. But I think it's going well. Learned a lot this year, and that's the thing, a lot of on-court experience this year, which a lot of freshmen around the country haven't gotten. They've been watching from the bench. So, it's just been good to get that on-court experience,
SMU wins the AAC tournament, by the way. The 20th-ranked SMU Mustangs 62, defending national champion UConn 54. Interestingly, SMU ends a 22-year drought in the NCAA tournament field.
But that's what happens when you hire a guy like Larry Brown, because he's taken that program, he has resurrected that program 22 years in the hole, and now they are going to the tournament, and I believe, honestly, could go far into the tournament.
Do you think they can go far?
I do. I believe in Larry Brown.
They're a 6th seed in the South Regional. They play the number 11 UCLA Bruins. The other AAC team to make the NCAA tournament, Cincinnati, an 8th seed. They'll be in the Midwest Regional also on Thursday the 19th against the 9th-seeded Purdue Boilermakers. Out, however, of the NCAA field will be 22-10 Tulsa, 23-10 Temple. As mentioned, the defending national champions who, if they could have beaten SMU in that title game, would have gotten the automatic AAC bid, most likely NIT bound. And then it'd be interesting to see where Memphis lands, 18-14.
So,
they're the only teams above 500 in the league.
So basically, it's whoever wins the AAC tournament is the team that gets the automatic bid.
They get the automatic bid.
So if UCF would have won that tournament,
oh my goodness, with this
no. But if UCF would have won the tournament, we would have had an automatic bid into the tournament of 64.
Which, in the pre-Donnie Jones era, when UCF made it, there was the automatic bid and the A-Sun and such.
Okay.
So,
well,
yes.
I think that there's a chance, coming up.
Well, what's tough about this, with being a 2-bid league, it shows that there's not a great deal of respect out there for AAC basketball, even though the top half of the league...
Is a 2-bit league?
No.
Is it the same? 2-bit and 2...
2-bid.
2-bid and 2-bit, though.
Yeah. But you know what? In both men's basketball now, when you look at where they had number teams in last year to 2 bids, and football, that both men's basketball and football seem to be top-heavy with competitive teams, and then that bottom half, which in basketball UCF finds itself in, is nowhere near competitive enough to raise the value and the profile of the AAC.
We should not be in the bottom half of anything.
Amen.
At all. Period.
Book it. I like it. I agree.
Period.
Yeah, it was a tough season for men's basketball. New players coming in, only lose the 2 seniors, a lot of new faces. It'll be a year in which the AAC tournament comes to Orlando.
I think I talked about this last week, and then Donnie Jones reiterated this when I talked to him, earlier in the week. He said, we get the 2 guys back that were injured, or the one guy was injured,
Matt
the
Williams.
one guy was setting out because he transferred.
Mm-hmm.
And I really think that next year is going to be better.
The seat is definitely warming up.
It's got to be better. It's got to be.
Well,
because
they went from the
Taylor,
4 wins to 5 wins, so
yeah.
How much better to make you happy in an 18-game regular season schedule? 10 wins. You're throwing down your marker on 10?
10 wins, yep. That's my
For me,
my marker.
I still struggle to see how they get past Memphis, UConn, Cincinnati, Temple, Tulsa, and SMU.
Well, with those new guys, that should be possible.
And you know what's tough when you look at that? SMU, Tulsa, Memphis, all former Conference USA foes, and then to get swept by East Carolina, lose that final game to South Florida by 29. I'm glad that the season has turned the page.
I mean, it kind of hurt to get beat by the 1 point in the overtime thing. That hurts, but to lose to a team 3 times in a season, twice in the season and once in a tournament, that's against the odds, to be honest with you, of a team beating another team 3 times in a row.
It was a home and away and on a neutral site, so they lost in all 3 top of opportunities.
Yeah. I'm sorry, for Casey Wilson and for
Miles
Davis to go out like that, and that's a bummer. Casey, I really like Casey. I talked to him on Facebook a little bit after that, and I said that, thank you for what you've done and
class
all that.
act, though. Definitely a class
Absolutely.
act, the way he reached out to fans and thanked fans, and the fan base was very supportive of Casey Wilson during his time with the Knights.
Good guy, yeah. I think we're going to talk now next to a guy that is going to be maybe... Did I say savior earlier?
No, it's a bit much.
I think I said that earlier,
It's
though.
a bit much.
He could be our savior at wide receiver this season, Cameron Stewart. All right, joining us now on the phone, very special guest, Cameron Stewart. He is a wide receiver that was recruited for the 2015 season. Cameron, how are you doing?
I'm doing good.
Welcome to Night Nation. We're glad to have you. First of all, tell us a little bit about how UCF recruited you, and I know that they did something a little bit special to get to you. How about telling us about all these letters that they sent you?
UCF came around about my 8th game, or my 7th or 8th game during the season, and they started sending me constant letters, sending me 100 letters a day, sending me posters, poster pieces to make a big poster of me talking about the past, the present, and the future. And so they just came around and took me under their wing and actually paid attention to me. Hey, I'm here now.
What did they say in those letters when they sent the letters to you?
They actually had people handwrite them. So they told me little fun facts about what they do at UCF, the tradition. They told me about I might be next. I'm next in line to play here at UCF. Just things to boost me as a person, I guess, to get ready to come down there and play big-time football.
All right, so you went to Shiloh High School in Snellville, Georgia, correct? Now, how did you hear about UCF? Had you seen UCF on TV? Do you know some players that play here already? How familiar were you with UCF?
I just actually seen them on TV a lot, and so I first actually focused on it when I heard about Blake Bortles, and so when I heard that name, that dude was good, top 10. JJ, I heard about him, and then I just got hooked and started watching the games and stuff. So
in your bio on the UCF Athletics website, it says you picked up offers from Georgia Tech, Indiana, Memphis, Pittsburgh, and Nebraska. Talk a little bit about that. Nebraska went after you pretty strong there at the end.
Yes, sir. Nebraska, they pushed me because I guess they were losing some receivers too, and they needed another big time receiver to come in and fulfill a spot that they lost a receiver previously. So they were looking for another, I guess, a big tall guy like myself, like 6'3" range, and somebody that can pack on weight, go get a ball, and they make big plays for the team when needed. And Georgia Tech was looking for the same thing because they like big body receivers as well, and so does Indiana. So I guess they needed some help to come in right away and come help them push their teams to new heights.
So what was the deciding point for you? Why UCF?
I chose UCF because they actually stayed with me the entire time. Like, they spoke with me from the last school year. Once they started sending me letters, they didn't stop sending them. And that's what actually stood out to me. They didn't stop sending stuff to me. They always checked up on me, asked about how my game went, my stats, and it just talked to me every now and then and kept in touch with me. Unlike a lot of schools really didn't show that much interest until the very end.
And for UCF fans who don't know you well yet, 6'3", 190, and you run track in high school. You're a bit of a speedster, aren't you?
Yes, sir.
Describe your style of play.
I'm more of a aggressive type of guy. I actually pick out certain techniques how DBs play at the beginning of beginning of the game. I pick out their weaknesses. I can pick up on it easily. Wherever the ball is, I'm going to be there and make a play. So,
what kind of offense did you run in high school there? What was that? Was it similar to what UCF is doing, or was it a pro style offense? Was it a West Coast offense? What kind of offense was it? Spread?
It was spread.
So yeah, you got the ball quite a bit then.
Yes, sir.
So did you watch the Knights in the Fiesta Bowl by chance? Did you get to see that?
Yes.
Okay, because I know that there's a picture of you that I was looking at just a little while ago with Blake Bortles. And how big of an impact was the Fiesta Bowl and the Knights doing well in the Fiesta Bowl for you to want to come to UCF? Was it big to you, or?
It was actually big to me just to see a team play against a really high-ranked team that other teams played with that was pretty difficult to beat. And so just to see them go out and actually beat a high-ranked team in a different conference in a big-time bowl game really boosted me and the decision I made about going to that school. So I was like, that could be me holding that trophy.
So yeah, you know a little bit about the receivers that were here at UCF, or a lot of them have gone on to the NFL this year, hopefully, or other places. Which one of those receivers that either are currently at UCF or have formerly been at UCF would you compare yourself to if there was anybody?
I'd actually say Perriman because we're the same exact height. We have the same mindset, I guess, with balls in the air that nobody can out-jump us or get the ball over us. And once the ball's in the air, it's your ball. So I guess that's the two things we got in common I see that we got in common.
Take us back to a game, your bio lists a game against Parkview in 2014. 12 catches, 243 yards, 3 touchdowns. What was that night like? Describe it.
That night there, I guess I had anger built up in me from the games before because I didn't actually produce what I was supposed to do. And so I just came out and wanted to be very effective. And so Coach started throwing me short balls, and I took them distance, and he would throw them, and I'd go get them high, low. I made the adjustment to go get it. And so I just did what I was supposed to do. I was there when the ball was there and just made a play on it and broke a record that night.
You were in the zone that night. Can you see doing that for the Knights at Bright House Network Stadium in Orlando coming in the fall?
Yes, sir. Most definitely.
Did they talk to you at all when they were recruiting you about early playing time? What did they say about that?
They just told me I have to come in and actually work. I have to live, learn the plays. I have to know the signals and all and get on the same page with the quarterbacks and running routes and doing et cetera. And so they just told me I had to come in with a mindset that I can do it, I do my part, and I was probably be able to start.
Was that a big thing in your recruiting process, somewhere where you could play right away?
Yes, I always thought about starting as a freshman, and so I always wanted to see what it would be like. So just to hear them actually say that kind of boosted me a little bit more. I actually think I can come in and actually do something most people don't usually get to do as a freshman. And
you talked about the attention you received from UCF. Talk a little bit about the relationship with the coaching staff, Coach O'Leary, and the recruiting process and the relationship with coaches.
The coaches would send me letters about certain things, about saying, we need you here, you remind me of this person, and they just gave me fun facts, talked about how good I did at the games and all. And Coach O'Leary, that Northerner, he's a handful.
He absolutely is.
What was your family's reaction to Coach O'Leary?
They liked him. They liked him just as much as I did. So I guess that was a good plus.
Did he come across as a friendly guy to you, as a coach?
Yeah, he was real friendly.
That won't last for long, probably, just so you know.
Yeah, I know that. I noticed.
He's a hard coach, but he sure produces. He produces lots of wins, and he produces a lot of kids that go to the NFL. So somebody at some point mentioned you in the same sentence as Brandon Marshall. Do you recall who told you that you remind them of Brandon Marshall?
I cannot recall exactly who said it. I remember when they sent me the 100 letters, I was just so happy to get a stack of letters from the school, and then I would read it, and then they would say, you remind me of Brandon Marshall, but I don't remember exactly. They didn't have a name on it, so it was numbered.
Okay, but that one probably stood out pretty big because he's a heck of a player and was a heck of a player at UCF. What would you like to tell Knight Nation? Something that they haven't heard in an interview, haven't read in an article that's been about you. What would you like to tell Knight Nation? Speaking to the fans directly, what would you like to tell them? Something special about Cameron Stewart.
What they could look forward to seeing me do in college is probably making plays, doing what other receivers don't usually do. And so I'm going to put on a show. I'm going to do my part. I'm going to put UCF on the map, and we're just going to go out and win another bowl game.
I like to hear it. I like it. Are you a guy that's opposed to going across the middle and taking that big hit sometimes?
What I'm more focused about is catching the ball first. I don't care about getting hit. I'm going to get hit regardless. Catching the ball first is my first priority.
What coach talked to you the most?
Coach Beckton.
What did you think of Coach Beckton?
Coach Beckton is like a laid-back type of guy. He's like a father. What he is a father, but he acts like a father to all the players.
And when you were watching NFL football, who did you look up to in football, wide receiver or other position?
I looked up to Calvin Johnson. Calvin Johnson is he's a big-bodied guy, 6'5", 230, runs a 4.4 in the 40. And just to see him go up and catch balls over guys, outrun people, take big hits, take small plays, and take them 100 yards, that looked like me.
And what's next for you? You've got graduation coming. Tell fans when you'll be on campus, and have you decided on a major yet?
I'm deciding I'm probably majoring in biology, so that's probably something I'm going to be able to be looking into when I get to college.
Wow, that's awesome. That's a good major. You have any interest in being a doctor or anything like that after football, or?
It's probably going to be for football. Or probably with animals, I guess, marine biology.
We are really looking forward to having you at UCF and being productive on the football field. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will follow you and we will keep in touch with you if that's okay.
Yes, sir.
All righty. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So, you know what they say, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. We don't need to know about your fun-filled weekend in the City of Sin, but we hope you'll click the ad on our website. It's right there to the left, the one that screams you have to save up to 50% off your next trip to Vegas. Just click on the ad and we promise never to talk about what happened in Vegas.
This is UCF linebacker Quentin Hampton, and you are listening to the UCF Knightline podcast.
Meantime, number 6 UCF baseball with a weekend sweep of Fairfield. Knights improved to 17-4 overall. Fairfield, the Fairfield Inn, 0-8 on the year. First baseman James Vasquez with a grand slam. However, Andrew, I would say
they're 0-8.
They're 0. They are now.
Oh, wow.
They are now.
Wow.
I would say, however, more notable was the fact that UCF scored 19 runs up in Tallahassee, dropped a pair to FSU.
And how did that happen? Because you
not a lot of pitching. It's my fault.
You talked some trash to your sister, who's a
Florida State
FSU graduate. Yeah, don't do that anymore. That was bad juju.
And I didn't say anything after they lost, and then she sent me a message on Facebook,
I'm sure she
she
did.
said, "I see FSU won."
I'm sure
she's real
did.
subtle about it, but she
Wow.
got her dig in there.
Wow, I'm sure she did.
So watch the Knights. They're most likely to tumble a little bit. 6th, the highest that they've been, and they had been at 15 for a while. So somewhere there's going to be some settling between 6 and 15.
Senior Tommy Williams hit for the cycle on the Friday night 11-1 victory, and Cree Frinfrock. I love that name.
I love that name too.
Tossed 7 innings that recorded a career-high 11 strikeouts.
Over the Fairfield Inn.
So Frinfrock has some heat, I guess, huh? What's his ball, do you know?
He said when we went to Media Day, didn't he say he was 92, 94?
Is that what his pitch is?
Well, that part of the scoreboard at Jay Bergman Field does not work, so you can never tell the speed of a pitch when you're sitting there in the stands watching it.
Yeah, I'm not going to go into that, but they need to work on that. scoreboard.
The scoreboard's been doing all kind of wacky things. It's actually something interesting to watch during a game now.
One game they had somebody's face on there, and there was a bad sector and it looks like a mustache. It's awesome.
But when
it looks
the
like
picture,
a milk mustache.
But when the picture lines up a certain way, it looks like they're using those white strips on their teeth. Their teeth just glow when they have that.
Come on, really? Do we not have facilities money to do this kind of stuff?
Well, that is an interesting conversation because they've been talking for a couple of years of wanting to add additional capacity there, and this would be one of those years where UCF looks like it's positioned where if it had a large enough stadium, could host a regional. However, UCF most likely heading to a Gainesville or a Miami or a Tallahassee.
So we spent money on a beach club, but not on money for the scoreboard to be replaced.
No comment.
No comment? What do you mean no comment?
No comment. I'm in a little bit of a difference of opinion with UCF athletics on being forcibly removed from my seats in the football stadium.
Did they have guys in white coats come and forcibly remove you?
Yeah, it feels like it.
Oh, boy.
Meantime, why don't we listen to UCF baseball coach Terry Rooney?
Are you trying to change the subject
I am
here?
slightly trying to change the subject.
Okay, we can talk to Rooney.
First of all, again, tremendous team win today. And on Championship Sunday, the guys, once again got it done and did a terrific job. And, just as you said, the big difference was that swing inning. When we gave up 5 and then we come back and score 7. I thought the guys obviously did a terrific job. And as we've talked about all year long, our offense has been outstanding. The hitters are doing a terrific job. Coach Snall, Closty, Coach Spray, these guys are doing just a terrific job, with our offense. Done a great job. Coach Snall has done awesome, incredible things with these guys and deserves so much credit for the success of our offense. And with that being said, there's an instilled confidence in these guys. Nobody panics, they relax, and we just kind of fought back.
UCF baseball off to Daytona Beach and Bethune-Cookman on Tuesday. They welcome Presbyterian into the UCF baseball complex, Jay Bergman Field, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
All right, and UCF news and notes here real quick for the rest of the sports that we haven't talked about yet. Number 20, UCF softball added another milestone to its resume Saturday night. The Knights won the 500th game in the program history after sweeping a doubleheader with Butler and UIC. However, on Sunday, the Knights were denied program victory 501 when they fell to James Madison by a score of 2-1.
Pretty successful program, though, UCF softball. UCF women's basketball fell to Cincinnati by 10 points in the first round of the AAC tournament. Knights end the season 9-21 overall.
The UCF women's golf team finished 5th at the 2015 SunTrust Gator Invitational.
UCF rowing team collected 3 wins in 5 events to claim the 5th consecutive Robin Ewell Trophy at the 35th Annual Metro Cup Regatta.
And the UCF women's tennis, now 7-4, won its 3rd match in a row, tallying a 4-3 victory against Furman at the UCF Tennis Complex. Trace, do you know who we're going to have on here next week?
Another good interview, I know that.
We are going to have Rashard Kazi.
I've heard of that guy.
He's a corner, and he was one of the guys that we thought maybe would get away from us this year in the 2015 season.
To one of any number of programs interested in him, 20-some-odd programs.
And he was recruited by, let's say, the Power Four because he did not have a Pac-12 offer, but he had at least one from everybody else power.
And he wanted to be at UCF.
Yep, so that's exciting. He is going to be a guy that I think will be playing full-time starting this year.
That's another prediction.
It is. All right, this has been episode number 34. This is Andrew Phegley.
This is Trace Trylko.
Charge on.
UCF, charge on to the field. With our spirits, we'll never yield. Black and gold charge right through the line. Victory is our cry.